You are listening to episode 107 of Game Deflators Podcast. My name's John, and I'm joined by Ryan.
Hey everybody, here at the Game Deflators Podcast, we like to talk about games we've recently picked up, games we're currently playing, and it's time we suck in today's Inflation Deflation Challenge.
I don't know how I feel about that, man.
We're the time sweeper. We're sucking time.
Okay.
It's time we suck, John. It's a statement.
You know, I see what Ryan's doing here, and I'm not going to fall for it. This week we played Blinks on the Xbox, and Ryan, I got to say, I had some fun.
Dude, I was so excited to play this super old game, this 12-year-old game.
It's only 12 years old?
Oh, wait. No, 02, sorry. Oh, wait,
Yeah,
was the high
say.
point for the price. So, yeah, 18-year-old game. Man.
You see, you got on me last week because I said 2019. You're like, it's been out 6 months, and now you go ahead and screw up 10 years too.
Who do you think this game voted for? It's old enough to vote.
I think if there was a cat-type president for or president-elect, I think I'd vote for the cat president.
Meowth for president.
Yeah, Meowth. Okay, so, here on the Game Deflators Podcast, we like to talk about games we've recently picked up, right? Well, this week, I really didn't have a whole lot of games that I've picked up. I got the Game & Watch, finally, it came in, but I talked about that being a recent pickup. And I have a mystery game coming in from Limited Run Games. When I say mystery games, it's because I ordered something I don't know how long ago, and I got the confirmation that it's being delivered, and that's about it. So, I don't know if it's going to be Forgotten Anne or some other title.
PS Vita game I just saw somebody online had picked up from Limited Run.
I don't even know anymore, man. Like, they are so backed up right now because of everything that's going on in production. That
I imagine.
So I don't know what it is. I'm not even going to look. I'm just going to open up the package and go, wow, I got my game. And it'll go on the shelf. That's how these things work here, Ryan.
Right.
I did slim down on some of the stuff I had to sell, though. So the PlayStation...
You enabled other people to pick up things.
I did enable other people to pick up things, and that's what happens. So, yeah, that's that. So I didn't have anything crazy. God, did I get any magic cards? No, man, nothing.
John, you're not allowed to buy any more magic cards until you get rid of the ones that you just got.
I don't know what you're talking about. Have you seen the garage, by the way?
I've seen all the other pictures.
Okay, yeah, you got to see what it looks like right now after I organized.
I want to see what kind of, like, crazy tower you could make out of them.
Well, you saw the picture, right, that Justin showed you?
No, but I'm like, build a house of cards out of like all your lands and super glue it so that it doesn't fall down.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say.
And just make like a giant magic mountain.
That'd be pretty cool.
You could call it Magic Mountain.
Magic Mountain.
And make it all out of mountain cards. I
don't have that many mountain cards, but we could. I don't play
all
red.
of the lands then.
All the lands, and at the top it'll be a mountain for Magic Mountain.
That's why it's a Magic Mountain, because it's made of all the kinds of lands.
I see. Okay, cool. Yeah, that works. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I did pick up some D&D stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So our secret episode that'll be released at some point in time for D&D Part 2 that we've recorded. I didn't mention it in this, so I got a vinyl of Avernus, the campaign that I plan on playing here pretty soon. And yeah, dude, it's pretty cool. It has a whole city mapped out, and it's in a vinyl, like, doesn't flip up, nothing, just lays flat. And it'll be great that the players be able to like point out where they want to go and like physically see the city versus me having to draw something out or print out a picture. So that was pretty cool. So I got that, and I got some minis. Okay, currently playing though, I pulled a Ryan this week.
Yeah, I heard about this.
I definitely pulled a Ryan. So normally we make fun of Ryan for not finishing games. This week,
we don't make fun of Ryan for anything.
We chastise him. So we chastise Ryan for not finishing games on a weekly basis here. Well, this week was my turn, and Cameo finally got the boot. My wife and I have been playing that on and off for the last several months.
Mostly off?
Mostly off. It just never really... It didn't really stick. Like, it's got great reviews. It says it's a great game, but we were so in between playing it that when we came back, we're like, what were we doing again? What do these characters do? What's the story? And we're just like, screw it. Let's play something else. So
I think that's what happened to everybody else that bought Cameo.
Well, dude, it's got like 8 out of 10 across the board on like Metacritic. And, regular critic reviews are even higher.
Wow.
So it's not a bad...
I didn't know that it was that well reviewed.
It's actually not a bad game review-wise.
It just seems like the launch title that nobody would really want. Because that's how I felt about it.
It was okay. Like, while playing, I'm like, this is... It's good graphically, like I could see the gameplay being all right, but the story just wasn't compelling enough for us to be like, yeah, like this is a great game. We should keep playing this every single day. So we've moved on to Super Mario 64 in the 3D All Stars. So we started playing that. We just finished a second world or second painting, and we're working on the first one actually because we beat the King Bob-omb, got the star we needed, went to the next world, and then like just blitzed through that, and now we're going back because we're like, oh well, we probably should have finished the other one. So that's currently what we're playing, and it's fun. It's not a game I ever really beat. I never had an N64 as a kid, so being able to play it now on the Switch seems cool to me. So we're gonna keep playing that and get frustrated with controls and ice levels down the road.
Yeah.
So that, and I didn't play any Jade Cocoon this week because I've just been prepping for this weekend and other stuff, and stuff with the other house and whatnot. So it's been a hell of a week. So no Jade Cocoon, but Mario 64. What did you get though?
So my Google Stadia came in.
Okay.
It actually just came in this morning. I walked out and I was like, a box with my name on it? That never happens. What did I order? And then I opened it. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I got that. And I think it's still up. I don't know. I haven't looked at this. I can't confirm. But if you've had YouTube Premium since before November 6th, you could get $100 off your $100 Google Stadia.
So they're just giving it away.
Yeah, just get it. The controller feels really nice.
So the controller alone is probably worth it so you could play any game on your PC.
Yeah.
I should probably look into that just for the controller to get one for free.
Dude, or I mean, just like for any game that has controller support on like you can get non-Stadia games on like iPad or
well, I'm thinking
on
for
your
when
mobile.
I'm thinking for when I get xCloud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really a comfortable controller. I like it a lot. It looks sharp. I like that it came with the Chromecast Ultra, which I didn't know about this, but it has like a hardline Ethernet in. And I was trying to get it all set up, and I couldn't quite get it all set up. I'm coming up with an error. When you try to connect the Stadia controller to your display device, everything runs on Wi-Fi. So you're got to be on the same Wi-Fi network in order to use the controller instead of it doing Bluetooth or something like that.
Wait, so you can only use the controller if you're on the internet?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Like, that's how it communicates, is through Wi-Fi.
Interesting.
Well, you got to figure, I mean, it's like, I guess it is Stadia, so you could potentially be out on your mobile device, but that you could probably connect it to somehow, I would imagine.
Maybe you hotspot your phone or something. So
Could be. I mean, they both have Wi-Fi. They're both Wi-Fi enabled devices.
Interesting. Okay.
So, I don't know.
Well, we'll see. I
will
might get
report back. Hopefully it doesn't take me too much tinkering, because I think you have to sign up for like the Stadia Premium or Pro or whatever. And, the idea is just cancel it before it hits you with your first renewal.
Yeah.
Because I think there's free stuff on there and stuff that you have to buy, and probably stuff that you get for free if you have the Pro.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to tinker around with it too much. I'm just kind of upgrading my existing Chromecast with the one that this came with.
Gotcha.
And hopefully that'll be like better and faster and easier than the old discount one I've been using for a few years.
That makes sense.
So,
well, anything else, or just the Stadia came in?
That's it. I don't buy stuff, John. I got no money.
It's true. He just Ryan just comes over here, pulls stuff off the shelf, takes it home. Speaking of which, where's my Ghost of Tsushima?
Oh, I meant to bring that because she said she wasn't actually going to play it. Go figure.
Well, go figure. Yeah, tell your wife to bring it.
I will bring it.
Okay. And how are things? I see it blank. How are things on the Persona front?
So they are going okay, making a little bit of progress here and there when I can. I'm trying, like I said last week, not to like consult a guide constantly, but I made this stupid mistake going through this castle where I used all of my SP healing items for restoring for my magic and stuff, because I was telling you about the battle system last week, how you use the weaknesses of the enemies and they all get knocked down, and then you get like a instant KO with all your team bashing on them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the dummy way to do it. What you're actually supposed to do is just attack all the way up and conserve your magic, because it's more useful to use your SP restoring items to restore SP so that you can heal your party. So I got all the way like up to the top about to fight the boss, and it's like, okay, I don't have any SP healing items, and I can't just go buy them, because like every time you leave, like a day progresses, and then you've got to do more stuff the next day, and it's like you've got to come back. Like if you leave without finishing the dungeon like on your first try, now you're wasting an extra day to do the dungeon.
Gotcha.
So there's this fox that will totally restore your stuff. That's one of the, oh god, what are they called?
I do have a question.
Houses.
What does he say?
I don't know, man. I haven't been able to talk to him. He's too expensive.
Uh,
But it's like the more rank you get, social rank you get up with him, the cheaper it becomes to heal. So
he's an actual fox.
Yeah, right now he wants like 40,000 to heal, and it's like, it's all the money I have, and I just got that money, and I would like to buy some more weapons and stuff after I get out of this dungeon.
Well, it'll be interesting to hear what the fox says.
Yeah. So
I just had to keep throwing that line in there to.
Yeah, I know.
You caught it.
I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I think I am gonna have to consult like a little bit of guide stuff like that, because like the only way to level him up is to do some quests around town for other people. So it's like I think I'm gonna have to use a little bit of guide, where I was kind of trying to just throw that out the wind and just do it myself and hopefully get through it faster. Now I'm gonna have to slow down and consult this guide every once in a while. So I'm not happy about that.
Well, hopefully you beat it before New Year's, because
dude, honestly, I'm really scared that it's not gonna happen, and I don't know what that means. Like, are we done? Do I have to like quit the podcast? Like, do you have to get a new host?
No, I think it just means I'm gonna shit on you for an entire year.
I guess.
Yeah.
Or maybe it means I have to do 2 next year.
Man, if you couldn't do 1 this year.
Well, I will have to still finish this.
That is true. You will have to finish it for sure. But you got to try and finish it before the first. That's hence new games are people are the dozens and dozens of fans that listen to this podcast want to hear what you have to say, Ryan, and they can hear what you have to say on our social media.
I can hear what they have to say.
Man, I had a segue into social media, Ryan.
Well, keep going, but say it right.
You cut me off. Okay, they want to hear what you have to say.
No, but social media is where I get to hear what they have to say, John.
Yeah, but you're going to tell them on our social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Oh, I'm not on there.
I know you're not. They'll basically hear it third party from me. So, yeah, basically find us on Facebook and Instagram at the Game Deflators, on Twitter at Game Deflators, and all of those awesome podcast applications out there. Podcast Addict, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Podcast Addict was already said. Just find us out on there and give us 5-star reviews, 6 if you can do it.
We believe in you.
We do believe in you. So before you get to your trivia, because I know you got it waiting, this week we'll be talking about Capcom's big leaks that happened from a hacker, Assassin's Creed and whether we think it should end, and of course, console scalping be illegal? Or really just scalping in general for these electronics, all of the electronics. Ryan, what trivia do you have to lay on me today so everybody will think I am a terrible gamer? What do you got?
Okay. So, John, how much money does the average player spend on Fortnite? The answer may shock you. Remember, Fortnite is a free-to-play game.
Now, are we talking on an annual basis or monthly basis?
Just assume it's just an average player lifetime. Like, not somebody who's, like in between the people who are up there spending money every month on Game Pass and the people who went on and played it for 6 months and never went back and they bought like a skin. Okay, somewhere in the middle there. What would you be your best guess as a
average player
businessman?
Lifetime? I'm gonna say $1,000.
What?
Yeah, lifetime, right? Dude, I know people who spent tens of thousands of dollars on games.
Okay, John, you're so far out of the ballpark.
No, wait, wait, hold on. Are we talking like $500?
The average player,
$200.
Jeez. Okay, John, it's $60, man. It's the price of a full video game. They're basically paying full price for a game that is a free game. Hey, you're crazy. You think that these kids are out there?
Yeah.
Like, you think the average player is spending $200?
Mom and dad's credit card, man. No limits.
But the average one, like between the consumers that are like, I'm not spending money on a free game because it's just something I play on the bus.
Hey,
you think they're spending $200?
My secondary $200 average was not bad. There's people, dude, come on. I know people have spent, like I said, thousands of dollars on games.
Yeah, but that's
free games.
That's some people. That's not the average person. Those are the whales.
Well, that's how you get the
average. The whales are like 1%.
But that's how you get the average. If 10 people spend $0 and 10 people spend $1,000, you get 500. I think, if my math's right. I did not graduate with a math degree. It's
apparent.
All right, $60.
I'm not gonna ask number questions anymore.
What's funny, man, is in my head I was thinking 50, and I'm like, I bet it's like $50, but it's gonna be. I'm
gonna go for 1,000 instead.
No, I was like, it's gonna be some stupid ass amount. Like it has to be some stupid ass amount.
That's what got you.
Yeah, because like in my head it was like $50 is like right away what I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, Ryan's gonna throw like some ballpark random ass number. It's gonna be absurd because it's this game. And
well, it wouldn't be good trivia if it wasn't interesting. Like I think it's really interesting that people are spending about what they should spend for a full game.
Yeah, which sounds about right. I mean, with your skins and everything else that you purchase for the game, but like I said, there's people who spend hundreds of dollars and I haven't played any Fortnite at all, so I wouldn't know if there's like skins for guns and characters and then like having to purchase extra levels or anything like that. I'm not fully aware of everything Fortnite has to offer other than it's a bunch of teenagers and crap. Okay. And anybody that plays Fortnite out there, I'm sorry for what I just said. Okay. So
Old man screamed at cloud.
Old man screams at cloud. Yeah, that's probably about right for me. We've gotten to that level, man, where our hips are hurting and we just want to lay down and do nothing. Right. Yeah. Okay.
Our hips are starting to lie.
All right. Yeah, Shakira lied to all of us. Okay. So Capcom's game release plans for the next 4 years are leaked by hackers, and that's probably not all that's going to be released. And this is by, looks like Daniel Eveland of Game Rant. Ryan, you're the one that actually, I had no idea that this happened other than a picture I saw on Facebook the other day with a circle around Power Stone, and that was about it. That's all I knew. I'm like, oh, that looks cool, and that's kind of where it stopped. So you go ahead and open us up here and kind of give us some background on what happened, and then we can kind of talk about these games.
Okay, so for anybody out there who doesn't know, we'll find and share like an article dating back to when this happened, but somewhere at the beginning of this week, I think it might have been late last week, some hackers hacked Capcom somehow. I don't know what they did. I'm not a hacker. But they hacked Capcom and they stole like a bunch of data, and they've been ransoming it and leaking like every day that they don't get paid. They're like, no, man, we're serious. And they're sending out like the equivalent of a tow to the people and giving us some info.
Well, so this is more than just a tow, what we got here.
Well, this is just a 4-year schedule of games that they were going to come out. But it's like, what we don't know is like, do they have actual like data for these games? Like, do they have like content that they could release, or is it just like they know like what the calendar is going to look like, which is still, I mean, announcing a game and doing it on your time and on your schedule, that can be like a make or break for a game. Well, probably not everything on this list here, but like
this list, dude, the way it's shaped out, it makes sense.
It's crazy
like that this would go through. So I'll read the list since it's about the most I got out of it initially. Resident Evil Outrage Q4 of 2021, Dragon's Dogma 2 Q2 of 2022, and I'll do the years in a bit. Street Fighter 6 would take place in Q3 of that year, followed by Rockman, which is really Mega Man in English, Rockman Match, and that's Q3. Then you've got in Q4 Resident Evil 4 Remake, which I know you would be excited about, and then Ominusha New Work, that sounds like more of a working title. Hence work.
I think these are all working titles because we know that it's Resident Evil 4, Village.
Well, Resident Evil 4 would be what it's called. Resident Evil 4
Well, no,
Remake.
but I mean like Resident Evil Outrage would probably be Resident Evil Village because that's already been announced.
Yeah, true. Unless it's some sort of like online only type deal.
Could be.
Which could be something new. So then you've got in Q2 of 2023, starting out that, Monster Hunter 6, which was a bestseller for them several years ago. Biohazard Apocalypse, Q3 of 2023. Super Street Fighter 6, so basically taking Street Fighter 6 in 2022 and making it super in the next year. And that, of course, we know is just a roster update most likely. these are a few interesting ones. Final Fight Remake in Q2 of 2024. Power Stone Remake, so Sega fans will be excited. And that's,
I want to play Power Stone so bad.
hey, I've got number 2
Wait,
here.
didn't we play Power Stone?
No,
once?
not yet, and I do have it. Hopefully my
play
copy
Power
works.
Stone.
It seems like all my Dreamcast games tend to shit the bucket.
I remember looking in gaming magazines at that one specific game and wanting to play it so bad and never having the opportunity.
We'll do an episode of that at some point. Then we've got, if you thought Super Street Fighter 6 was a whole lot, how about Ultra Street Fighter 6, which is probably another roster update, and that'd be Q4. And then to round out 2024, you've got Resident Evil Hank.
That boy ain't right.
I'll tell you what. So
that's what I'm waiting for, man. I want to see that game, the Hank Hill Resident Evil game.
If Hank Hill is not in there as an Easter egg, we're going to be disappointed. So that's your leaks, and of course, if Capcom doesn't pay, evidently we're going to have more leaks. But from what I was reading here, it said stuff about like source code and whatnot was leaked too in this article. So that's pretty interesting. Or maybe it was another article I was reading, but yeah, they're releasing a lot of stuff so far. I mean, this is a pretty good list, and who knows, maybe we'll get a list that comes out that says acquisition news.
Right.
That'd be pretty interesting to see something like that leaked.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, that's a lot of good looking games and stuff. It's kind of disappointing though when you know, like, if we know that all those things are going to come out and they don't get delayed further by COVID. Like, who knows when that list was generated and made up? Like, that could be like an older thing. I don't know.
Well,
but
I would say I don't know much about the video game planning or the industry and how long it takes them generally to make a game. But I would say that's probably
like 2 years, 3 years.
We'll tell that to Square Enix. Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy 15, all those games.
Yeah.
I remember it was Versus 15.
Well, I mean, even Cyberpunk's super delayed still.
Yeah, is that getting delayed into 2021 or is it?
No,
in
it
December?
comes out December 10th
as of now. But yeah, so I think that could probably be a pretty accurate list. It could just very well be a 4-year plan too. I mean,
but we don't
fully know.
It's kind of boring to know what everything's going to be like. Getting the announcement, like getting that like fresh trailer drop, and you're just like, oh my god, like that's what makes events and stuff. So it's like if everybody just knows it's going to be like next year, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember they said this was going to come out. It looks good. Yeah,
and I mean that's part of it too, right? Like, hey, pay up, or we're just going to keep leaking more crap. Right. So
the 8-year plan.
The 8-year plan. Well, in that article,
we left out 2026.
I think that article. Wait, that's only 6 years. That's not 8-year plan.
No, but I mean they would leave out 2026, so they had another thing to leak later.
Oh my god. So yeah, another thing that article had mentioned, which is now skipping my mind because of the whole 6 years, 8 years thing. Oh god, it's gone. It's gone, Ryan. Something else the article had mentioned.
John has lost his mind officially, folks.
I officially lost it. If I think of it later,
if he ever even had it.
Hey. All right. It's time for Assassin's Creed to end, Ryan. That's our next article.
I agree.
I like this name. You like it too. It's by Marshall Honoroff. Or Honor of. We're going to go with Honor Off because that sounds better. And that's at Tom's Guide. So really what we're talking about here is, Assassin's Creed is, 13 years, and it's gone on too long.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what your experience with Assassin's Creed was, but I remember being super stoked and getting the first Assassin's Creed, taking it home, playing it for a while. I was like super into it. I thought the sci-fi stuff was really interesting. I thought being an assassin in like the old world. I don't even remember where the first one was set, but
was it like Persia or something?
Something like that, yeah. But it was so cool and it looked amazing, and like the movement with the parkour and stuff, that was all like still pretty fresh, like it hadn't been in every game yet.
And now it's been in every game for 13 years.
Yeah. This kicked off a lot of stuff, and it really opened the world up to doing like some really interesting stuff. I mean, this went straight into like the Arkham series and that Spider-Man series we love now.
Tsushima took a lot from this as well.
There's so much blood from Assassin's Creed that's gone out, and I just got bored playing even that first game because I realized, like, didn't I just do this exact same thing in the last mission? And they still hadn't gotten like fully open world. Like, you had to unlock parts of the town at a time,
which I'm okay with that, to be honest, because it allows you to focus in one area and then branch out, kind of like what Tsushima did, right?
Yeah.
It does allow you to do that and then go back and fulfill other quests if you want to. But yeah, it's kind of like, dude, I had the same experience. So I played the first one for a bit, got through however long. It was just like, this isn't for me. It's kind of repetitive. It's the same stuff. Graphically, for me, it wasn't like, when I played on the PS3, I had other games I had played on PS3, and I boot up Assassin's Creed. I'm like, this just isn't even close to the power that this console at the time is able to handle and what it's able to do. Hence, like I'm playing Uncharted at that time. So it had been a while before I played Assassin's Creed. But I'm like, there's other games that are so much better on this console. Why would I ever want to play this? So my wife plays it, and she loves them. Like, she's played all of them so far at this point outside of beating Odyssey.
Yeah.
And I've kind of vicariously, played the games through her and watched her play them and seen how
You've
it's
gotten a
developed.
lot of exposure.
Yeah, and like I've played a little bit here and there with her. Like she's asked me to beat some boss battles occasionally if she can't get through something, and I'll do it. But yeah, for the most part, I would say the style and what I've seen is it's repetitive. It's the same thing. It's the same formula, just rehashed over the course of 13 years or 12 years, however long it's been out. And it's kind of, how much more can they do? Like we had talked earlier about, well, what if they do like a World War II type thing? Like that would be kind of cool, but what are you going to do? The same flipping formula and have like assassins, American assassins trying to find, Nazis and kill Hitler?
Nazi Templars.
Like, yeah, Nazi Templars. It actually would be kind of interesting. Don't take our idea, Ubisoft. They will. But yeah, like, and that would be an interesting twist, I guess. Like, Hitler didn't, like, kill himself or something. It was, you as an assassin, an American assassin, came in and committed the deed, and the rest is history type thing.
Or tell, like, a smaller story on, like, another front.
Yeah, like even expand on things like Black Flag. But you know what's going to happen, dude? We're probably going to get like Assassin's Creed Black Flag HD remake on the PS5. And
Assassins in Space.
Assassins in Space. Like
they need to go future
shit
with it.
No, please don't. They did that for Call of Duty. What is it? Future Warfare or whatever it was. And yeah, that you saw how that went. Yeah. So yeah, I think they're beating a dead horse at this point. It's a cash cow. It's no longer milking cash. You should probably move on.
I mean, I'm right there with you. Not a huge fan of the series. I think that the smartest thing, and the part I love most about this article, is right at the end where he says that, it's a good idea for them to keep making games that they're good at. Like, they're good at making historical action games. Keep making historical action games. Just don't make them about Assassin's Creed. Like, you can still do, like, a really dope game, even using a lot of that same stuff, but tell more of an original story, or even more of a true story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sure that there was like some crazy spy that's been out there like in the front lines, like something Casablanca, but with like a little bit more action. Like, give me something like that. Like, tell real stories of real people in like crazy situations, and, exaggerate it with the way you love to do in video games, but get rid of the sci-fi Eden and the hidden blade. Like, we all love the hidden blade, but the hidden blade is not what it used to be for people.
No, it's literally the same thing it's always been.
Why does a Viking have a hidden blade?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say they don't have a hidden blade, but I've watched the show Vikings, and I think they've done it a few times where they've killed somebody with a hidden blade. I don't recall. Go watch Vikings. It's really cool. But that being said, man, I'm right there with them too. Very well, they could be making, historical accurate type games, make them more of a cinematic experience where you're telling the story of an actual individual, getting historical. And they do take a lot of historical information to make these games. Don't get me wrong. A lot of this is actually, there's a lot of accurate stuff in these games.
Keep doing that. You're good at it.
Yeah, they're good at that part and doing the research. So you're right. Don't make it, and he's right too, Honorov, don't make it only Assassin's Creed. Bring in more creativity. Like, we're kind of done with that.
And you can work in new things. Like, instead of having to be like, bows, guns, same kind of different swords, axes, hidden blades, like all those games have some combination of all that stuff. It's like you could, change it up, change up your arsenal, give you a chance to like do something different.
Have weapons. I don't know if they have repair, but like weapons break. You're not always using the same weapon. Change things up. I agree. So yeah, if you got any thoughts on that, let us know on social media, of course. And our next piece, which I know is probably going to take a while for us to get through, so hopefully we don't expand too much on it. Should console scalping be illegal? Xbox Series X and PS5 sales are being abused. This is by Aiden Carter at Keen Gamer. So I'm going to start off right now with saying I don't think that scalping necessarily should be illegal. I think the method in which you're able to scalp should be illegal. So that being bots that get ahead of the queue, which basically ensure that nobody else can get their hands on a product, creating a false demand and increasing the price of that. I would put it akin to price gouging in a sense. You know, when you're in a situation, or, you know, right now we're in a pandemic, obviously, but if you're in a situation where, say it's a hurricane, or say it's a major, you know, natural disaster occurs, and you start spiking up the price of gasoline and gouging customers to get the best bang for your buck as an individual without taking any regard towards those that want it or that product, I would put it akin to that, in that you're using a method to basically deplete the entire supply available, so you can essentially force the hand of consumers who don't know any better into purchasing an extraordinarily priced or really high priced console, which that's kind of where I would put it, man. Like, I get it, and the main thing I've always felt is that if you want to stop people from scalping and doing this, don't buy the product. But the problem is, you have people out there who either are impatient and want the product right now, or they just have the money and are like, all right, I'm cool paying that type of money because it's a premium and it's available right now for $800 or $1,000 versus $500, and I'm not going to get my hands on one for a while. Like, if you stop buying, scalpers are not going to be able to sell the product. Hence, they're not going to scalp. Like, just don't pay for it. And it's kind of frustrating, because there's products that I want to buy, but I'm not going to sit there and pay, you know, for the...
You don't even want to pay full price for, like, a regular console. You want to wait a couple years for that to come down anyway.
Exactly. So, like, somebody like me is really unaffected in that aspect. But, you know, like my graphics card, AMD did their release the other day, and while normal consumers got it, and, like, I had a chance to buy one on Amazon, like, it was there, I could add it to my cart and everything, they didn't release the right graphics card that I wanted. Like, they only had... they had one particular version versus one I needed, and those went pretty quick too, like within minutes versus seconds. But, you know, there were bots and other people that were on there too, and it's not a matter of, like, you know, I just don't want to, I, for one thing, don't want to pay that much money, but the other thing is, like, I just want to finish my damn computer and have a GPU. Like, is it that hard to do this? Like, all you're doing is pissing people off. Like, I'm not going to pay your high price point for whatever you're scalping, but there are people that will, unfortunately, and that's the frustrating aspect. And by the way, in that article, they had mentioned that in 2018, the U.S. government tried to pass it was the Grinch bill, apparently, which was supposed to be against bots and other types of illegal, well, not illegal, but other types of activities, like to circumvent that, so that general consumers like you and I could actually get something like we want to, which is why I was so happy to see at Nintendo and Amazon put a 1 per person limit on Amazon. There was a 1 per person limit for the Game & Watch when I was buying it, and then with Best Buy, they actually had it towards a staggered release, like I talked about, I think a couple episodes ago, where you could pick one up, but it would, like, add to cart, like, would be there, and it'd disappear, and then it'd come back and it'd disappear. Like, it was periodically updating product. So there's ways that companies have tried to, you know, go around the bots and try and handle the issue, but they aren't doing it so effectively, and it really is frustrating at this point. So that is Old Man Yells at Cloud 101. Your turn.
Yeah, okay. So it definitely should not be illegal. That's bull. We don't need the government coming in here telling us how to buy our stuff. Like, we don't need that. That's taking it a step too far. But, you know, bots super suck, and I wonder if this year, like, they talk in the article about how the sneaker industry was affected by the same kind of thing, and I don't remember having this problem. Like, when I got my 360 at launch, I actually had to wait till, like, March to get mine, even though I reserved it in July. Like, you know, I short supply. Like, and this year it's especially bad because of the pandemic, and, you know, they had to shut down all the factories for a while, and, you know,
Yeah, it makes sense.
This was not the good year, and I feel like everybody, especially being stuck at home, feeling frustrated already, like our little neck of the woods has really felt the shit out of this year, because it's like every week, it's like PlayStation's launch, like the retailers screw up and they let people go on and they release it early. Yeah. You know, before it's even supposed to be scheduled. So it's like they're screwing up there.
Well, and the bots are already in place at that point to purchase those items.
And then the next week, whoever did the last graphics card, they screwed up their launch. And then Xbox was teasing them and they're like, we're not going to mess up they're messed up their launch. Like, it's been a really tough year for anybody to get a hold of any of these things.
I think one of the ways that these companies are going to do this as well moving forward to try and avoid any sort of issues like this is you'll probably have limits like Amazon did of one per person as an online retailer. And then I can imagine that they might do something along the lines of you have to be here in person to do it. That would be the easiest way. One per person, in person. That's how you're going to get it. And then after the first week or so, okay, get as many as you want. Like at that point, doesn't matter. To allow people to secure that pre-order. Like you had mentioned you want to go to Best Buy and get a card to be able to get the Xbox, but they had sold out online.
Oh, yeah. And they weren't going to be doing like the in-person at all but I mean, that's another thing that's kind of just this year.
Yeah.
But like Nintendo actually has been killing it. Like you said, you know, they did a really successful, we both thought that these like 35th anniversary Mario things, like you and I each bought 2 copies of the Mario, and you returned your other one because that market's just not going anywhere. Like I kept my other one because I didn't feel like returning it, and who knows, maybe like a warehouse will catch on fire next month.
Maybe. Same with the Game & Watch. Like I bought a couple of those, but the initial reason
you wound up returning them because they're not worth it, because the Nintendo's doing like a good. They've actually got enough out there for everybody that wants one, and like even the Switch, which has been selling like hotcakes. Like they found we're like, oh, hey, you know that special edition Animal Crossing one that came out? We found a bunch more. We're just gonna put them out there for anybody that wants one.
Yeah, and you know, and the thing of like with you and I buying a couple extra copies, right? Like to buy a couple extra copies, no biggie,
is
right?
Different.
We're talking about people that are out there that they're purchasing literally consoles to the ceiling of their house, like 20, 30 consoles. There's actually a scalper that was bragging how he made $27,000 by doing this.
Yeah, well,
and like I wonder if he's even paying taxes on top of that. You know?
I feel like buying consoles is different than buying games, because it's like not that often that you run into a game that's instantly going to become so valuable when you purchase it, unless it was like a super limited edition something, and it's not even about the game at that point.
Yeah.
Like really games themselves, I mean, that's what we talk about all the time here. Like how much are those games actually worth? Usually not that much. It's everything around the game. There's only like things like you've got like Rule of Rose and stuff where it's like, oh wait, they actually didn't make a lot of this.
Yeah.
And it's probably not really worth the money anyways.
Yeah, and there's games that I look at now, I'm like, yeah, you know, that's probably going to be worth a bit of money here in the next several years. Like, dude, every time I go to a store, I've got this like prospective thinking of like, all right, what is going to at some point be worth a good bit of money that if I ever want to play it, I don't want to pay that much.
Well, and these will go down in price. Like, that's the other thing. Like, the consoles aren't going to appreciate, I mean, for a while. Like, if you were to hang on to like a bunch of sealed ones,
and like wait 25 years, maybe.
Wait 25 years, but like after a year, they're not going to be worth anything.
But even so, like, I mean, we're talking, let's say a sealed NES or sealed Super Nintendo or a sealed N64. There weren't as many. Like, there was a lot made, you know, but it wasn't 100 million. We're talking game systems like a PS4. If you had a sealed PS4, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Unless it's like a limited edition type of console.
And then it's not even about that. Yeah. It's about a whole other thing.
Exactly.
At that point.
Exactly. I feel like we went on a random rant there.
Yeah. But, well, no, I mean, it's tangentially related. And like, I think that it is bad. And I think that what really needs to happen, like you said, like the retailers need to be the one that step up. Or, you know, it's a free market out there. Somebody needs to step up and be that retailer that is going to do that and take all the business of the people that want to do it that way. Like, I mean, if you could compete by selling things the way that purchasers really want to purchase them, you should be able to get out there and do something.
Well, and here's the thing. If you are somebody out there who forked over $1,000 for a PlayStation 4 console, like an eBay or locally or anything like that, you're part of the problem, by the way, as to why this is happening. Because the only reason this is happening, and the only reason we have bots and other things that are screwing up the ability for consumers to get even 2 products of something, one to keep or one to play, is because you were purchasing from these scalpers. So like that needs to stop too. So anybody out there is listening and you've made these purchases, like just stop being impatient.
Well, they're super luxury items. Like
they are.
You can't feel too bad. Like I understand everybody wants their console and everybody's going to hate me for saying this, but like if you can't wait it out, like the PS5 is ugly anyways. Like if you can't wait it out for a better looking one, like you're not satisfied, and you have to be like, we should really want to be in this next generation as quickly as possible so that we could talk about some stuff. Not that I play video games or buy them anyways.
Well, I mean, yeah, we'd be talking more next gen if I had an AMD graphics card here that I could play off, or even an NVIDIA one, but here we are.
If only the Stadia would work for me.
Yeah, then Ryan could play some. Like, we'd be in a good position here. But yeah, at the end of the day, if your credit score is not 500, you don't need a PS5. I've seen that meme plenty of times. It's a good one.
You have to have 100 score per PS.
Yeah, 100 score per PS. Okay. No, 120 per PS.
Dang it, man. I really went under last week. We lost the house, and I can only play PS2 games for now.
All right, well, let's get into our inflation deflation this week. We played Blinks the Time Sweeper. This is by Artoon. They're the ones that developed it. It was published by Microsoft, and it was directed by Naoto Oshima. Did I get that right, Ryan?
Naoto Oshima.
I got it close. And it was released in October of 2002, and it is a platformer type game, which received reception in the 7 out of 10 range overall.
Now, this is an average 7 out of 10. This is one of those games that's like 9s and 5s. Yeah. So it somehow winds up being about a 7. Most people kind of give it like a high 6, mid 7 kind of rating.
Like
but
if you rated this game a 5, I don't know what you were thinking, because it is definitely not a 5. I could say an 8.
It looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that we both noticed. We were playing on a
360.
Xbox 360 what?
Elite.
So I don't know if that does like some kind of effect on it, but like, I mean, it was just the regular Xbox disc in there. That's the thing I love about Xbox. Like, who would have thought that Microsoft would be the backwards compatible one? I guess they just must have thought about it from the outset, because like they never had to make that transition from CD to DVD and then DVD. Like, you know, PlayStation, every first console was like a different thing.
Yeah.
And then Nintendo like literally had to change the shape of the plastic.
Nintendo's just crazy. You look at their controllers, and somebody's been on acid while they've been doing those control designs.
And the one thing they've hung on to, the GameCube controller. Well, and I guess reselling every single game they've made with Mario in it.
Yeah, wait for a mini 64 at some point. But yeah, dude, so Blinks the Time Sweeper, I loved it, man. Like, from what we played really like the first world in a sense. It's got like 35 different worlds, and
we got through a few levels.
Yeah, I mean, from what we were playing, you pretty much sweep the area of different enemies, and there's boss fights, and you're collecting different jewels throughout, which allow you to do certain things such as rewind time, pause time, move stuff forward. Like, it's cool. Like, it's a really cool concept.
And it was interesting how like all of the different crystal gems that you were collecting, you had to like collect a certain amount of them in a certain ratio in order to get like another use of this time power. So it's like if you got all blue moons, you would get like another pause, but if you got like 3 pink hearts and a yellow star and all your lucky charms together, you could make a rewind.
Yeah, it's
So there's platforming where you
cool.
didn't have to get everything. Like, you know, usually in most games, it's just like, oh, I'm just getting these coins and it doesn't really matter or do anything.
And
these were actually purposeful.
And there were secret cat things as well that you would find throughout, like those emblems, which are pretty cool. And dude, being able to suck up various things in the environment was pretty cool too. Like, a trash can, an oil barrel, here's a bench, like hit enemies with it. That was
more
super
things
cool.
than you thought. Like, you would think, no, that's a part of the environment. Oh, no. It's not. Yeah. I could take that.
Well, I saw you suck up the bench. I'm like, I wonder if this flower bed can be sucked up. Oh, shit, it can. So I thought it was really cool. I enjoyed it. And I was telling my wife about it, obviously, when we finished playing. And she was like, whoa, really? Like, that sounds like it's right up my alley
It's
as
fun
a game
looking,
to play.
too.
Yeah, it really is. And the graphics were good. The music was good. The controls were pretty good. They weren't
Once
bad.
we got used to it, like, it was weird going back, like, you know, when you go back and play an old game. I mean, you just started playing Mario 64, so, you know, like,
God, it's terrible.
you go back to an old game and, like, for the first 10 minutes, you're like, yeah, I remember why they stopped doing it this way.
Yeah. While we were playing 64 last night, I looked at my wife. I'm like, you do realize this is one of my most hated Mario games, right? And it's just like, why? Like, because of these controls, because of everything about this game. Like, you go from 2D to 3D platform with shit controls. This is what happens. This is why I never liked it.
I know, I played like the first 2 or 3 levels of that when I got it.
There's gonna be a lot of people that shit on me for not liking 64.
Dude,
I didn't grow up with it, so
yeah,
it's not something
I didn't
that was,
either. I've never gotten like
I've always
that
been a
many
PlayStation
stars.
guy, Super Nintendo, and then PlayStation after that. So yeah, dude, brass tacks here, complete in box. We're linking at $11.82 right now. That peaked in May actually at $12.55, and it's been holding at that $11.82 price point. Loose $7.09 is what we got right now. Peaked at $8 back in 08. And
That's where I got the 08 from.
Oh, okay.
From that figure right there.
I gotcha. So, yes, that's trending down. Dude, in my conservative perspective here, I would have to say if you found this game at $15, you'd be all right. Like, it's fun. It's
You
cool.
wouldn't feel bad.
You would not feel bad. Like, this
You would
is actually
feel like
a
you
good
got
game.
your money worth. Like, this is one of those examples where, like, this was like a pretty early release in Microsoft. Like, they were pushing this to be like their Crash or Spyro. You know, I don't think anything is ever really going to be a Mario. I think Crash and Spyro proved that, but like, it was going to be their cute, cuddly mascot platformer, and it just never went anywhere after this. But like, man, this is what we need, an HD remake.
Yeah, for sure. Like, while I didn't even mention it to you.
Or just a new one.
Yeah.
Screw an HD remake. This didn't have like a bunch of sequels or anyways. Just make a new one.
Yeah, and actually, while we were playing, I didn't actually mention this to you while we were playing, but I'm like, you know, this could be one of those games that if they remade it, I would buy it. Like, it's pretty cool looking.
I would totally play this. I bet it's on Game Pass.
It probably
if it's on
is.
Game Pass, I would totally go back and play this.
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah, we'll have to look at that whenever I get that, or xCloud, whatever the hell they call it. Too many names.
Right.
Far too many names. But yeah, so Blinks is really cool. If you're listening, you would probably definitely like this if you have an Xbox and don't own it. It's a pretty cheap game. Obviously, it's in $11.82. You could probably get it for less, but you know, as we said, if you find this for like $15 or a little bit less than that, it's a good enough game that it's cool. I did pick up my copy for a free fitty. Justin actually gave it to me as a random birthday present in a box that he sent me of random games, and that happened to be in there, and there's a $4 Goodwill
You get a lot
price
of
tag.
random games in the mail, don't you, John?
I really do. Yeah, like
That should be a thing, like a grab bag game service
there is.
where you just pay $5 a month and you get like whatever kind of game.
Oh, well, there's not $5 a month, it's $40 a month.
That's
It's,
stupid. It might not be worth $40.
No, it's like Video Game Collect, I think is what they call it. And there's another one too, Retro Treasure or something. I don't, you know, James over at, or not James, Jesus, Jason at Corpse Slug Gaming, he does it. He has a monthly subscription. I don't know if he's still doing it, but he was doing both for a while there, and they get like, it's like $40, and they send you a bunch of games that are supposed to be valued at $40, and you can import your collection, mark off what you already have, what you don't have. Yeah, it might be something I buy. We'll talk about it later. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, they have that, and you could do retro games, you know, other types of games. The only issue is that I don't think they give you complete in box for some of those games. So I have a feeling
it's
like
$40 a month for a random box. Here's 38 copies of Madden 09.
well, they don't give you duplicates. And so you don't get duplicates. So you can mark off the types of games you don't want. So you might say, I want RPGs, action games, and platformers. And that's what you put.
And then they send you an email, dude, you're too picky. We don't have any of that shit.
Right? Like, I would just strategically mark off everything. So all I would get are the expensive games, which of course they're not going to send you anyways. I don't even know how that works. Like, what happens if you got like 5,000 games in your collection and you're missing like 20 from one console, and you're like, that's the console I want to collect for?
Well, then you're the guy. You're that guy that has to go online and pay those outrageous prices.
Yeah, I'm the guy apparently. So yeah, definitely. That's an idea of something down the road that I could look at. But yeah, so check it out. I think mine was $4 from Goodwill. So there are deals out there. And
You can always find something.
yeah, you can always find something out there.
And this is definitely a game like like if anybody's actually charging you, like what is it? It's 1182 right now. So if you go out there and somebody's charging you 15, like they're not really getting that one much over you, because it feels like a game, like from what we even just played of it, like I would totally think that $15 would be a fine price.
If you got 3-4 hours out of it and enjoyed it, yeah, 100%. So, all right. Well, we have to figure out what the heck we're playing next week. We always have this issue. This should just be like our new thing. Just random game for next week. So, I don't know what you're feeling. I've got some new Switch games I picked up recently. We could play. Well, God, I hate doing new games because it's hard to like say,
because their prices are what they are.
Yeah, the prices are what they are. But I mean, you could always talk about the value and whether or not it's worth waiting down the road to play it. So we'll think of it. We'll get some for you guys next week. But this has been episode 107 of Game Deflators Podcast. Of course, catch us on our social media channels through Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and all those great podcast applications out there. Ryan's doing a dance for Podcast Addict and Apple Podcasts and Spotify and Podbean. But go check us out on there. My name's John.
I'm Ryan.
And thanks for listening.